Well, I'm not gonna bore you with all the, with all the making excuses or whatever and introing. We're getting straight into this because that was an absolute joke. There's no other word. It was an absolute disgrace. We had nothing going forward, and it was a comedy of errors at the back. That's simple. That's so simple. Like, the only player who ran with the ball at feet to drive forward was Tufan. The only player. Figueiredo was shocking. Tobias Figueiredo was absolutely awful. I'm going to be careful with what I say here, but I'm also going to get my point across. Because it was simply awful. It was awful. I mean, the first goal, Harvey Vale completely switched off. Completely. Then the second one, Figueiredo, mate. If you don't hear a call, get rid of it. It's not hard. It's not difficult at all. And then, I'm not being funny, I think Baxter does have to take a portion of the blame here for not putting a name on it. And then Figueiredo, why, when your own goalkeeper touches you, are you diving in your own penalty area? He's lucky. He is so lucky there is not a game for 2 weeks. Because he would not make it out of the MKM Stadium alive if there was a game on Tuesday. He would be crucified from the moment he stepped on that pitch. What has Sean McLaughlin done? I mean, I understand not playing Sean because you alongside Greaves because you don't want 2 left-footed centre-backs. But I'd have preferred Alfie Jones in there. In my team, because I said play that entire team. And a lot of people said play that team. And everyone was like, oh, okay, we feel confident now. Shotter has been on Twitter. But it's... It's so infuriating because it's so infuriating. We've watched defeats before. I mean, I have as many subscribers as I do because we lost 8-0 to Wigan. But it's never been so bleak. And we've got to a point where we are now, where there is seemingly no solution we can find. The fans wanted him to change formation, he changed formation. The fans wanted him to start Vale, start Pelkas. He's done that. Start Baxter, he did that. But something deeper is wrong. Something isn't working. Adjun and Tan left their seats just before the final whistle. A little part of me wants to believe they've gone down to that dressing room, had a word with Shotter, said, mate, what the hell was that? And then said something to the players. Because I understand we've signed Tufan, we've signed Pelkas because they're close to Adjun. But there has to be a line between saying, look, all right, mates and boss. Same with Shotter. Adjun can say, oh, he's a nice guy, but I'm pretty sure behind the scenes he is heavily scrutinising Shotter for what is 1 win out of 6 games. After the first game of the season, we were 2nd in the league. Then after the draw to Preston, we dropped down to 6th. Then after the Burnley... after the Norwich win, we went back up to 2nd. Then draw against Burnley, I think we maintained 2nd. Then West Brom, we slipped down to 6th. Then Coventry, we rose back up to 3rd. Since then, we've gone 11th, 17th, and it is, in fact, I will say it's more than likely we will end this game week and go into the international break in the bottom 3. We've signed better players and got worse. With all the games that have kicked off at the moment, we are 21st in the league. And playing at the moment, are Huddersfield, who are leading 1-0. And where are Coventry? Coventry are drawing 0-0 with Birmingham at the moment. Middlesbrough kick off later. They're the 3 teams left below us. We won't finish bottom. And we won't finish this game week bottom, and we won't finish it in 23rd. But to me, if Borough beat Rotherham, we are in the bottom 3. And after sort of 10, 12 games, the table starts to take shape. Do we want to be where we were last season at this stage where we're slipping? Where we are right down at the bottom and we don't win for ages. Shotta joked about the fact in the press conference at the start of the season, look, I lost 6 of my first 7 games as manager. But now where do we draw the line? Where do we draw the line? For me, Shotta, lovely bloke. But there's no better time if we are going to change manager than now. I keep going real dark. There's no better time than now. Purely because we've got an international break. We bring a manager in, they've got time to then come in and impose their tactics. Say, right, we're going to play this way. Because Adrian promised us, under Shotta, attacking, exciting football. We've seen glimpses, but now with this team, to be fair, in my opinion, I don't even think the injury excuse is a good enough excuse anymore. Yes, no Salah, no Traore is a blow, as is no Alaya. But, for me, with everybody fit, there are 2 changes that I would make to the team that started today. That's Fleming in for Elder. And Elder is one of, I believe, 2 players who can walk off that pitch with any sort of smither of credibility left. I'll tell you who the second one is in a moment. But, like I say, for me, the 2 changes I'd make, Fleming for Elder and Syed Manesh for Vale. Other than that, it is a full-strength team. And we'd have Salah, Cynic, Traore, Vale, Longman, Woods, all on the bench. That's on paper. It's the strongest team. Because we've seen today that what all us fans thought on paper was the strongest team got battered to bits by a team who struggled to score goals. You could say the same about Norwich when we beat them 2-1, although battered to bits isn't, Right, anyway, we're moving on from that point because that's a pretty null point that I'm making. Basically, we struggled to score goals as well. We were in a position last season where we relied heavily on KLP. We invested in the summer not to do the same again in terms of relying on one player to score all our goals. And lo and behold, we're doing the same again. We are in a position now where it takes a moment of magic from Tufan or Seri shooting from range. Seri had a shot within the first 2 minutes that was tipped over the bar. Tufan, we know he can hit them. He did it against Bristol City when he hit the post. It takes one of those 2 doing something ridiculous or us spoon-feeding Estupinian. Otherwise, we will not score goals. And that is evidenced. In our last... Give me a second. In our last... Where are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In our last 6 games, we scored 2 against West Brom. Both Estupinian. We scored 3 against Coventry. All 3 were Estupinian. 1 against QPR. That was Tyler Smith. And then blank against Sheffield United, blank against Stoke, and another 3-0 blank against Swansea. Does that not tell you we're doing something wrong? I mean, right, let's focus more on the game. Tobias Figueiredo is a liability. He's an absolute liability. I thought, right, maybe in the 4-back because he's a bit more no-nonsense, it might bring the best out of him. It's made him worse. In the games when we've been playing the 3-back, he seems too relaxed on the ball. Too relaxed. At the point where, when he's got the ball at his feet, he thinks he can do anything. But he can't. He cannot. He's far too sloppy with the ball at his feet. Gives it away too much. And then today, my God, that second goal was a joke. Right, yes, right, we'll touch on Seri in a minute, because that's a whole other can of worms. But Figueiredo. The ball falls to him after a scramble. In that situation, why is he stood just waiting? What's he doing? What is going on? Why does he not? Why? He's a defender. His immediate instinct should be, get that ball out of there. But he's not faffing about with it. And yes, it's majority his fault, but Baxter didn't shout. Baxter should have put a name on it, and he didn't. Yeah, but for Figueiredo, if you don't hear a shout, you clear it. I've touched on that early on in the video. Now, that third goal. Jesus wept. He just passes it straight to him. He just passes it straight to him. Oh. It was a painful watch. It was a painful watch. Greaves, couple of good blocks. Coyle was all right, but still defensively a little bit frail, because Manning had quite a lot down that side. Elder, I thought, did all right. Coming up against Sorinola, yes, Sorinola got the assist for the first goal and caused a few problems, but Elder, for the majority of the game, squashed that. And fair play to Callum for that. Seri was just... oh. In the first half, he'd go in for tackles, get 75% of the way there, and then suddenly think, oh no, I'm not doing this, and back out. But by that point, it's too late, and the ball just bounced off his foot and Swansea are away. And in the second half, he was absolutely anonymous. And the same goes for Slater. In the first half, with every touch he made of the ball, he gave it away. I'm gonna be blunt. I don't care if any of them see this. They need to hear it. Because I feel as though I'm voicing what the fans' assessment of the game is. Every single time he touched the ball, he gave it away. Pelkas and Vale had nothing to go off, neither did Estupinian. But there was a point in the second half where Pelkas plays a ball through. This is when it's still 0-0. Estupinian, all he needs to do is keep running straight, but he stops. Why? If he keeps running, he's one-on-one with the keeper, and that's probably a goal. Yes, we had the Sheffield United debacle where he missed the one-on-one, but come on, it's a chance. But he gives up. Why? What? Oh my god. And then, I mean, credit to Swansea, they were just better than us. But again, nothing special. Sheffield United, fair play, they're up there. But Stoke and Swansea, who we've been battered by, played off the park by, neither of them are anything special at all. That's clear with Swansea. Before today, they were in the relegation zone. And so were Stoke before we played them. They were right down there. Neither of those teams are anything special. They are just well-drilled, organised championship units. And if Shota is going to be replaced, that's what we need to look for. A manager who knows the division. People saying like Sean Dyche, that's unrealistic. That's out of the realms of possibility. But I don't just want someone from the back arse of Turkey who does not know this league. Because it's so clear. It's so clear. We've not upgraded from McCann with Shota. I like Shota. And at times, we've seen promise. But it's not happening. We've signed better players and we are worse. We are a worse team than what we were in terms of organisation, in terms of togetherness at the end of this season, at the end of last season. And I'm going to come back to the reliance point because we knew if we got the ball to Keane, he could make something happen. But we've got a different kind of player we rely on for goals now. Oscar's a poacher. And when you don't feed that poacher, it's never going to work. And this is why I am among a group of fans who think that Alayar getting injured was the turning point. Because he is not scared to rattle defenders, to run at defenders, and to use the pace that he has. He's only scored the one goal for us, yes. But we know he is so much better than what the one goal says. Because of the work he does for the team. The pressing. The constant running. The tracking back. Even when he's playing as the number 9. And playing him left wing back was a risk that worked so well. And I think it's part of the reason why we've absolutely nosedived since that Burnley game. Since he got injured. If it was 6 weeks, fair. He'd be coming back now. But it's not. He's going to be out until after the World Cup. We've got at least another 2 months of this before the World Cup starts in November. We've got a run of games that we can win. We need to be picking up points at least in every single one of them. It's just what we need to... It's the basics that we need to get right. Figueiredo, learn how to pass a ball 5 yards, mate. And then it's... Midfield, in the first half, we're just letting the runners go through, putting more pressure on the defence. And it should have been 3 or 4-0 before half-time, had it not been for Joe Perreault misfiring and 2 decent saves. Well, I say 2 decent saves. 1 good save and 1 fingertip incredible save by Nathan Baxter. I've got nothing else to say. I've said my piece. Fair play, Swansea. You were better than us on the day. But if we're going to change manager, now is the time. This is the point to do it. We have an international break. We don't play until Friday the 30th of September. Arjun, if you're going to let him go, now's the time. Thank you for watching. That game was an absolute disgrace. And we still need to bounce back from the Sheffield United game. We still need to bounce back from the Stoke game, and now we need to bounce back from this game as well. The leakiest defence in the Championship, we've missed a trick in the transfer market there, definitely.